Hello, welcome to today's episode of TalkNRoll with HawKNLoaD Captain. Hawk is out due to power outage at the Hawk's house. So today we have Haleigh Byers. Haleigh has gone from, geez, I'm sitting here staring at your list here, Haleigh. You have gone from merch girl. Let's see. It says merch girl, tour manager, production coordinator, director, editor, now lead singer. So how do you do all that?
It's not easy. Luckily, the main things I do are production coordinator and now music. So I just have to pick and choose what I prioritize, basically, make my schedule around one thing, fill in the gaps with the other, have barely any off time. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Right now, I am a production coordinator at a venue, so that's very, very, very full time. And then I do merch and tour managing for friends every now and then. So luckily, that's not like an everyday thing. Um, but as far as directing and editing goes, I do that for friends for music videos, and then I also do all of my own stuff now. So every marketing thing you see, I am doing pretty much during my downtime at work.
Well, that's one of the best things you can do when you're multitasking. You already have that education there that you can edit. So why not do your own videos? You don't have to pay nobody that way. That's 100% in your pocket then.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been doing like editing on the computer for videos since like middle school. I would make like dumb music videos to like One Direction songs and stuff. And that would pretty much be our Friday nights sleepovers, is me being like, okay, guys, we're gonna do this. And they'd be like, oh, okay. And honestly, for a middle schooler, my videos were pretty fire, but I learned a lot. I started on Windows Movie Maker and
I
then upgraded to iMovie, and now here I am using Final Cut.
see that. I think that's what I started with, was Window Movie Maker, and I used to make the anime, take music and take anime and make anime music videos when I was bored. I'm like, man, and those were all over freaking YouTube at one time. And I'm like, how did we get any
Yep.
of this past any of the YouTube bots back in the day? That's when they didn't care. Now,
Yeah,
now they're super protective of everything.
so protective. So protective that like I know nothing's gonna happen, but I'm still paranoid that like they'll be like, oh, you can't use your own song or something like that.
Well, it's bad. Is every time we do, which I'll ask you right now, can we put your song at the end of this episode? We do
Mm-hmm.
that with everybody, and it's always comes back. It's like, oh, you got copyrighted content on your thing. At least we've never been shut off. But it's like, I got verbal consent from the band to use
Yeah,
their music, and you guys still say no. So,
picky, picky.
well, it was real bad. Was one day my youngest son was over here and he was watching TV, and I had it turned way down so I couldn't hear it over here, and all of a sudden it's got a thing that says it bounced it back to me because of what he was watching. It was able to pick it up, even though I'm like sitting there like I can't fucking hear it, but they could. They knew. They're like, oh, okay. So I had to go through, take the sound, drop, sound down, raise up the take the background noise down and take the foreground noise up and take it all out as much as I could to be able to save the episode.
Nice.
So that's why he's no longer downstairs when I'm doing these episodes. He's upstairs in his room playing video games while I'm down here doing this. Same with the dogs. The dogs are not down here because if not, they would not leave me alone to be able to film any of this stuff. So
Same here. The dog is not in the room.
no, the two dogs will be fine. The two dogs will not let me do this. The third dog is fine. She chill. So they're little fat corgi. She just chills out on the floor.
Oh,
Two corgis and a mutt. So
I love that. That might be the next one we get as a corgi.
they're so good.
Yeah.
Courage is a rescue, but he's a little wired. And then my other one's an older, retired breeding dog that we ended up inheriting, and she's just lovable as hell. So
We're trying to choose between a corgi and a Frenchie.
yeah, I'm a sucker for corgi, so I'd always pick a corgi. So how did you go from all the stuff that you were doing to adding lead singer to your repertoire?
I was a theater kid growing up, so I've always like had it in me. But when I dropped out of theater school in 2016, and then I moved here to be an actor, and then I kind of fell out of love with it because the industry is just so different going from high school to being an adult. And I had a bunch of different career changes, but always in the back of my mind, I was like, I really miss performing and stuff. And then I got into like helping friends with like their marketing and like um all their touring and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can do this. Why am I like not doing this? And it took like years, but I finally like got back into that sense of being able to sing in front of people. Cause like for a few of those years, I was like, no, I'm good. But then like it's just like the kind of like pep talks I had to have with myself, being like, dude, you got into Tish at NYU, like you're you have so many people telling you you're good, like you can do this. So it just took a lot of mental stuff to be able to put myself out there. But yeah, I'm mostly doing it for the performance aspect and the visuals aspect. The writing aspect is so new to me because I don't play any instruments. I'm used to having a script and being different characters and stuff. But luckily, I have my friend Jake who co-produces with my partner Josh. And without them, I literally wouldn't be able to do this right now. I would have to go and like pay so much money to like somebody professional because I have no idea what I'm doing on any of that at all. So yeah, all in all, it took a lot of self talks and a lot of just having these connections is really what it took because
Yeah.
I've wanted to do it for forever.
Well, that's one of the good things is that being in, the music industry, even if you're on the outside edge, being the merch and the cord, you have that in your pocket to be able to be like, hey, I can go and get these people to help me. And it's funny because you talk about your characters. I just happened to find you on, of all things, because I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I caught part of your song. I had to back up and listen to it. I'm like, that's kind of a fun little song. And then I'm like going through it, and you keep changing characters throughout I'm like, and then you told me that you're a theater kid and stuff like that. I'm like, that makes total sense. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's how would you describe your music?
Um, right now we're experimental leaning onto pop punk, I guess, because I want to go pop punk, but at first I just want to, just like play around a bit.
Yeah.
The way we go by it is like we're not just like leaning on one style. I go in with words with a chorus, which is usually the most backwards way you could write a song, supposedly. That's what they're telling me. I go in with words for a chorus that I come up with because right now this whole EP that I'm going to be putting out is like very specific about specific people. And so I come up with the words and then I go in and Jake will like do a little diddly on the guitar. And then that's where we'll come up with the rest of it. So we're just kind of puzzle piecing a bunch of stuff together. All the songs are going to sound different. My next one sounds a little more pop than this one did. And then the next one is going to be like a mix of theater and heavier.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you're. I mean, that's what you got to kind of do. You got to be different enough that you stand out.
mhm.
Because we've had this discussion with other bands on our show that it's good and bad because you can get your music out there, but the problem is that everybody can get their music out of there. So you got to be unique. You got to be different. You got to stand out. You got to pop. And like I said, when I'm scrolling through and you popped and you made it so that I had to go back and check you out. That's what you need. I mean, the fact is, I'm a metal guy for the most part. I do like my synth wave and stuff like that. And you had a punk pop feel with a little bit of metal in there, and I'm like, that's fun. And to be able to find, I mean, you legit look like you're having fun. You sound like you're having fun, and you sound like you're enjoying what you do. That is sticking out, and that stuck out to me a lot. And that's why I kind of reached out to you and asked if you want to be on the show. And because, like I said, there's so much music out there, and to be able to stand out and for people to notice you, I think that song worked and your style worked, and it was something that you caught my eye, and I had to go back to it. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's been one of my fears is like, I'm the kind of person that wants to succeed immediately. I'm a perfectionist. So that's been one of my fears is that like no one would notice immediately and like I'd be like embarrassed. But like I'm just trying to do my best right now and trying to tell myself that's all I can do right now. It's literally the first song, like
Yeah.
it's had some good feedback. It's been on the radio once now, and another time is coming up. So we're working on it.
So your band that you have now, is this a band that you've worked with before, or is this a band that you've like kind of helped cobble together to form your current band, I guess?
Yeah. So for the studio portion, I have my partner Josh and his friend, now my friend Jake. They're both doing the instrumentals and everything on the tracks. And then Jake's girlfriend and I guess Josh's friend, all of our friend Alyssa is also helping me with writing the lyrics and helping with like making sure I'm on key and all the vocal stuff. And then live, I'm still kind of figuring out since I am under a solo name. I think I have a lineup of musicians that I'm going to use, but it hasn't been solidified yet because I don't have a live performance probably until May because I'm shooting for the EP to come out in May and then start performing from there. Yeah, it's pretty much friends, just a bunch of friends.
There you go. It's like I said, it's always fun having friends that are in the music industry and help you out and keep it going.
Yeah.
So how did you get into music?
I've always been a pop punk nerd. So, I mean, just going to shows constantly and at one point, I was at like 2 or 3 shows a week. And so I would end up seeing all these smaller artists that were support and then seeing their support and eventually like just hanging out with them at the shows and becoming friends with them. And then from there, seeing like behind the scenes of like how the scene really is and what it's like to be a performer. And then what like really pushed me towards it is now that I see it every day at work. In 2021, I quit my old job and I was like desperately looking for something. I'm like, well, I like music. I might as well just like apply to be like an usher or something. And I did. And like within a few months, I was like, yo, how do I work backstage? And they're like, here, take it. And it was like the easiest transition ever. And so now that I'm working with artists firsthand, like getting them all their needs and advancing shows, just seeing not only like watching the artist perform, but seeing everything that goes into it, talking to them every day, getting like all the different experiences. It's just all of that put together has made me be like, yeah, like this is what I want. I can literally see myself doing this every day. And the pushing point was when I would go to shows and I would start getting like low-key depressed, being like, that should be me up there. What am I doing? Why am I not pushing towards this? So I've always just been into music, whether it be my show tunes or pop punk.
What's the first band that got you into music? Do you remember?
I mean, it all started with the Glee soundtracks. But then my first pop punk band, Have you ever heard of the YouTubers, the Janoskians?
No.
They were like they like to pull pranks on people like Impractical Joker
Yeah.
style. And they did a live show. But for some reason, they had a pop punk band open for them. For some reason. And they were called Hollywood Ending. And so from there, I just started like going to all these smaller shows for these smaller artists and then like just like expanding on Spotify and stuff. So I guess the first like bigger artists that's people might have heard of are All Time Low and Mayday Parade.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's so funny is watching almost everybody's like, oh, we found this band, we got into it, and then it kept snowballing and snowballing, and then you get into other stuff. What's funny, you talk about going to show tunes and stuff like that. That's my wife. That's her thing. She goes to all that. She's going to in 2 hours. She's going to go see the Cher show. So,
All right.
a stage musical with the music of Cher. So I'm like, oh, cool. Where are you going? I'll just hang out in the basement. That's what. But hell yeah. But no, but I've taken her to go see her stuff, and she's gone with me to go see my stuff. So, and we like the same stuff, so that works out great. But so when did you decide to go ahead and go, you know what? I'm doing this myself. This is 100% me.
It was on a car ride from work to home last year because last year I lived in Anaheim. So I lived like anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours away, depending on the traffic.
Yeah.
And it was like 1 a.m. Me and my partner were driving down to Anaheim and we were just listening to music. I was zoned out and just like picturing myself like doing it. And I'm like, fuck it, I gotta tell you something. Because I hadn't told him that I was thinking about it. I was like, I need this. I need to do this. I am never gonna stop like daydreaming about me being that person up there. Like for my own mental health, like I just need to just try it. And he was like, yeah, do it. Like, why aren't you?
Yeah. It's what do they go big or go home? So you went big. You got it. And so you said you moved to out to LA. Where were you originally from?
I'm actually from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I went to school in Chicago at 17, dropped out and moved here at 18. And then I've lived like all over Orange County and Riverside County, just like the spending a little less money on rent. But finally, after 7 years of living here, I finally made my way to LA and I am currently in West Hollywood, chilling, 10 minutes from work, no more hour-long drives.
Holy crap. See, I've not been out to California since I was a kid, and I remember driving out there and it was ridiculously bad, and that was 40 years ago, about damn near. I couldn't imagine it now. So
It's expensive.
oh my God.
I'll say that.
One of my good friends, he moved from LA. He now lives here in my little podunk town. And he's like, it's so nice. He goes, I can live on like a third of what I lived on out in California. He goes, it's Ohio. He goes, it's gas is cheap, rent's cheap. And I'm thinking rent went up around here. And he's like, not California rent. He goes, I have a really good friend of mine that lives out in California. He's a producer out there, a movie producer. And me and him were talking about it because I bought this house a couple of years ago. And he's like, man, that's like $1 million house. I'm like, he's like, California, it's $1 million house. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, right.
Yeah, I just took my partner to Tennessee for the first time last year for Christmas, and he's from here.
Yeah.
So this is what he's used to. When he saw that $2 gas, he was like, what is this? Because it's like it's sitting on 5 right now. Yeah, it's cheap over there. It's just that it doesn't feel like home to me.
Yeah, you're where you were supposed to be now. You you were just happen to start out here. Your journey is
Right.
taking you out there.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for it. Like the theater program I was in high school was amazing. She taught at college level. Like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better education than what I got. So I'm very thankful for where I came from. My family still lives there. I go there once or twice a year to go see them. But this is definitely where I was meant to be. Like anytime I go anywhere else, I'm like, yeah, I just can't wait to be back home.
See, I'm one of the people I always thought I would get the hell away from here, and then I got stuck. So, so you made it.
You
So,
never know.
yeah,
Every day's a new journey, and everybody is where they're meant to be in this present moment.
there you go. That is a great way to look at it right there.
Yeah. If you're
So,
meant to be somewhere else tomorrow, you will be there tomorrow. Like
oh yeah. So you started out as a theater kid. What was your favorite performance that you did? What's your favorite show you did?
my senior musical is gonna sound dumb, but my senior musical was Schoolhouse Rock Live Junior. And I was one of the stars, plus I was the costume designer. So I designed and made 90 costumes, and I helped with the set and the props, all while traveling to different states to audition for colleges and stuff. So, yeah, that one was my favorite, probably because I was the most involved. And we would perform it for like elementary schools that would come on field trips to watch it. So our theater would be full of like 600 kids. And then they would do like a questionnaire after and like a meet and greet. And everybody would like file by and like give high fives. They all like wanted to hug me because I was the funny one in the show. That it sounds dumb because it's not like a big musical, but like the experience of it was the best
It's
experience I've had.
it's Schoolhouse Rock. I mean, you're young, but Schoolhouse Rock. I grew up on Schoolhouse Rock. I remember all that stuff. I literally the other day I got the DVD that came through my shop, and it is all but Manifest Destiny because that one got a little. That one did not age well. Um, but you watch that; it's fun. So what part did you do in that one?
My character's name was Dory, so I sang a noun as a person, place, or thing, the preamble, and elbow room.
That's fun. That's great. It's I didn't even think that I forgot they did a stage play of Schoolhouse Rock. So my oldest son was in theater. He did Guys and Dolls, and I remember having to be him like, oh, I'm going to be there for a while. I'd have to go pick him up at school because he's building sets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
He was a big kid, so he was one of the ones that was helping him. Like, yeah, okay, bud, I'll come and get you. I have to go over, pick him up, bring him back. Then I would have to go to work. So, so
yeah.
how's your family take you doing all this stuff?
Uh, my mom loves it. My mom has always been my number one supporter, no matter what I choose to do. Anytime I call her, like about anything that's happened, like telling her, "Oh, I was on the radio today," or "Oh, I just got this many listeners from this ad I ran," she's always like, "Oh, oh my god!" Just what you need to hear.
Yeah,
um, the rest of my family, I only showed my grandmother and my great aunt the video before it came out, and and they were like, "Oh,
that's
this is great."
nice. That's
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, it's not going to be their style. The rest I have on social media, so I'm sure they've seen it, but haven't gotten feedback from any of them. So the one that matters is definitely my mom, and
there you go.
she loves it.
It's always nice when you have parent backing.
Yeah.
Because if you grow up like I was, it take it forever to get your parents backing. So did you do all your costumes for your music video?
Yeah, so I had help from my friend Jackie picking stuff out because I'm very indecisive. The doll look at the beginning of the video I put together myself because I just straight up had that vision of like being having the story behind the video kind of being like animatronic-esque feel, because this relationship made me feel like I was a puppet on strings or something. So I picked that one out, but Jackie helped me with finding the straight jacket, like my idea of a straight jacket, because I didn't just want like a plain like straight jacket. I wanted it to be like cute and stuff. But for the other look, she pretty much picked that one out herself. So it was a team effort on the looks. And then my friend Maria came in and I gave her the inspiration for the makeup, and she did my makeup for it, just based off of the pictures I found.
The and you could tell because watching your video, you knowing that now you had this theater background, like totally makes sense now. It's 100%. It's screaming at you in the face that this is what it is. Yes, you can.
I felt at home definitely while filming.
Yeah, well, it's cool. Like I said, to find people finding their voice. I mean, even though you're tiptoeing, you're putting your foot in like slightly different genres of music, but you still got your core, feel, I guess. And like I said, the fact that you popped enough just in the 2 seconds of taking your phone, you're like, oh, oh, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. You go back here. That's all it takes is that, and you're like, oh, that looks fun. And see, that's what I like about a lot of new stuff is people legit look like they're having fun, because I'm one of the people that I was a heavy metal guy. I went through grunge, but I wasn't into grunge because I didn't think grunge looked like people were having a good time, because they weren't. That was the whole point, is people weren't supposed to be having fun. But I'm like, why would you become a rock star and not have fun? That defeats the purpose to me. And you're out there busting your ass. You look like a fun person. You're having fun in your videos, finding out that you're a theater kid, that you were into music, and you're doing the opposite of what some people did. Because I knew people that went from California to Memphis to be in the music industry because they found it easier than going the other way. Because I guess I don't know if California is as bad as I've heard, but I figured they said it was easier for them to get noticed in Memphis than it was for them in California.
I think it depends on the genre, really,
Okay.
because back home, there's not really many pop punk artists. There is one bigger one that came from my high school, actually, Julian Baker. She was the grade above me. She's in Boy Genius now. She's popped off. But other than that, I can't really think of anybody from this genre coming from there besides like it's like R&B, hip hop, blues from Memphis, and then Nashville is usually like pop or country. Like growing up, I barely had anybody that would come on tour to Memphis. They would usually skip Memphis.
That's crazy to me because I live here and legitimately up until recently, now bands are hitting, but it was, we'd go forever without getting any good bands. And now it's like my March is, I think I got 5 concerts I'm going to in March.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy because I think 2 of them are in Detroit, 2 of them are in Columbus, and I think one of them's in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky. So, music is now coming here, but it still sucks. I still got to drive like 2 hours no matter what I want to do. And unlike you, where 2 hours is only like,
A
X amount of
mile.
miles, few miles, 2 hours for me is like, 120 miles. So,
Yeah, that's how I would go to shows growing up too. In high school, I would have to drive to St. Louis or Little Rock or Dallas, occasionally Nashville, like for the bigger artists like One Direction, and I saw in Nashville, and a couple others. But I would have to drive a lot.
so well, here's the part we get to. Well, you don't have you probably haven't been on tour much. We always ask tour horror stories. Do you have any horror stories? Because you worked at a venue, you might have some great horror stories just from work. So,
Yeah, I have a horror story almost every day. Like I'm there literally most of my time. Um, I'm trying to not get specific. We don't want to be problematic before our second song is out.
There you go. See, we actually had to. I actually had to edit out because one guy calls me up. He messaged me later. And he's like, "Can you edit out that whole scene where I was like, yeah." He goes, because I still talk to that guy. It's like, yep, okay, we can take him out. So I had to take out the whole section of them talking about going on tour and having the one guy kind of lose it on tour.
Yeah, well, recently the first one that pops to mind is I almost got physically attacked one night by an entourage of an artist that was playing my venue because they had a support act who thought they could come backstage and bring like all 50 of their people backstage, and it was just kind of a shit show because they were being very tight with who was backstage. Like, I was very shocked at how like well put together the team was, but they had like, we had doubled down on our security. They hired like these outsourced like huge Samoan guys to like just stand at the backstage door making sure nobody got in. Like, it was very tight that night. But at one of our backstage entrances, they were like screaming, like trying to get back. And so, me being one of the people in charge, I go over there and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? What's happening? And this girl was like, well, I'm a performer, I gotta go back. I'm like, yeah, okay, you can go back, but your people cannot. And she's like, what? Just like screaming, trying to find any sort of excuse for them to come back, and like getting like this close to my face. And like, so I was like, I'm not dealing with this. I'll go get the tour manager and they can deal with it because this isn't worth it for me. And so I went back to my office, and then I just heard like horror movie screams. And I look out and they're like trying to attack the security. And so like I get the big Samoan guys. I'm like, go, do it, deal with it. I'm not. This isn't worth it. So all basically, if you're friends with an artist, don't expect the special treatment. Just do what the venue and the tour managers are telling you to do. Do not expect that everywhere you go that you're a VIP, because it makes a lot of people's lives harder.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that I that's a great story, because usually we hear from the band. Now we're hearing from the people working behind the stages and stuff like that. And yeah, you probably was it a I don't want to get into too much. I don't want to get you in trouble. Was it a larger band? Was it a more famous band, I should say?
Oh, it was not even a band.
Was it a band?
Yeah, it was. I'll say it was a hip hop artist.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
We a friend of mine owned a venue for a while, and he was telling me horror stories about. He goes, "Yeah, these guys show up, and you're like, oh, you got a bunch of people, and then you realize that like everybody at the show was pretty much their entourage, and you're just like, why would you just keep doing shows, just dragging all the same people to show to show to show?" You're like,
it sucks for us from a venue standpoint, because like we have a capacity, like we can't have more than 75 people backstage, including the people working. Like if we have more than that, the fire marshal will come and shut the show down, because he's on site. He's literally watching cameras. Like, he's on site. They don't think about the fact that they could just ruin it for themselves. So yeah. I mean, just be polite. Just anytime I'm at a venue that's not mine, like with another artist, I say thank you to everybody. Like, if they say that something is wrong, then I'll fix it. Like, they know better than us. We don't know better than the people that are there literally every single day.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny with a lot of these, I guess, not very big bands who think they become really important. I booked a show. We were supposed to have a big horror. We were trying to do a horror movie metal show. So we're supposed to do like horror guests and like metal and stuff like that and rock. The big bands we booked, no problem. We only had one issue. One goes, "Hey, we can't do Friday. We can do Saturday." So we had to switch the bands around. It was no big deal. Literally, the people that destroyed the entire event were the local people who just started having issues, and we kept fighting with people. We had people booked. Then they're telling people that we need more money. I'm like, you're no, no. And we just and finally I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. I walked away from it. And they're like, you're not booking us? I was like, no, you guys burnt that. It's done. I'm gone.
No, I mean, starting out, you just got to be in the mindset of you're not going to get paid for anything for a while. Like, I don't expect my friends to pay me when I help them out. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, like when they can. Or my friends don't expect to get paid when they help me with stuff. Right now, I'm in a spot where if people are helping me with a music video, I'll take them to dinner. Like, people aren't expecting to get paid at this level. Like, you shouldn't.
Yeah. Well,
Unless you're like playing a bigger show, sure.
I don't know if it's the same out there, but locally we got a lot of the people that book bands that are paid to play. So you got
Yeah.
yeah. So you're not even getting paid. You're paying them to play. So you got to make your money up on merch. You got to make your money up on selling your CDs or selling, pictures or whatever you can do to make any kind of money to cover that. And that's running into problems too because we got these locally. You get these kids that their parents just basically pay to make sure that they're on cards. They're not good, and yet you see them at every show because their parents just dump tons of money into them to play. So they'll buy 50 tickets to a show, and they won't sell any. They'll just give them to their friends. So there's just a bunch of free people that don't buy alcohol, don't buy any drinks, don't buy any merch because they're there for free. And then you get that. But that's what
we
they
have
do.
a lot of those here too. One show I threw though was at this little like bar venue called Cinema Bar, and it was a free show, but they made all their money that night off of drinks, and then we got like a portion of the bar sales. Like, so pretty much that night we were like having to convince people to buy drinks all night.
So you've got the one song now out. Do you do when you perform out, do you do covers or do you do anything like that?
So I have a 5 week marketing tactic for each song.
Okay.
So week one is always going to be the release, the music video, etc. that Friday. The next Friday will be a lyric video, usually very DIY and very like shitty looking on purpose. The vibe I'm going for is like middle school fan made One Direction looking videos. People like them, I guess. Third week is behind the scenes. Fourth week is acoustic, and then fifth week is a cover, usually with another artist. So today I'm actually recording the cover that we're going to have out next week, and it's going to be featuring my friend Alyssa, who helps write with me. So I'm going to be doing a cover with every song release, and after the EP comes out, I have no idea how often I'll be doing it. But for right now, I have literally the next 5 months planned.
So what's your favorite cover to sing?
Today we're recording One Nation Underdogs by Royal and the Serpent. And then I have a few picked out that I'm trying to decide between live. But one of them, I'll say one of them, because I don't want to totally spoil it for people that do come to the show. I'm pretty set on covering Black Sheep, from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Yeah. That version of Black Sheep.
Okay, cool. So so outside of music, outside of what makes Haleigh Haleigh?
I like video games. I stream on Twitch when I have time. Um, right now I'm streaming the first Spyro game. And then I'm also in my free time playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. I love Disney. I have a Disney Pass now, finally, after them not wanting to sell them for years because of COVID and then only releasing them in batches. But I finally got one. I sat in that queue for like 4 hours. I love Disney. I worked there for 4 years. I used to go every day just for like dinner or something. And now I can finally do that again. So you'll catch me at Disney a lot. One reason why I can't leave here.
Were you Disney performer or were you behind the scenes stuff?
I worked in attractions.
Okay.
Yeah. The goal was that eventually, but then like some shit happened behind the scenes right after we came back from COVID, and I just kind of had a mental breakdown. I was like, I cannot work for this company.
My really good friend, his daughter interned at in Florida, and her roommate was Snow White, I believe, maybe. And they're just telling these horror stories about what this girl has to go through to be Snow White. I'm like, why would anybody do that? You're not. I mean, but there are girls who line up to want to be Cinderella and want to be. And I'm not gonna lie, my whole thing is that my wife keeps trying to talk me into going, and I want to go to Galaxy's Edge. And I was like, but me and my son want to go, but they won't let us dress up like Star Wars characters. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I want to go now.
Well, if you go during Halloween time.
I have a full set of stormtrooper armor hidden, and I have a full set of Sith robes, and my son has Jedi robes. And we were going to go there, and they're like, "Yeah, they won't let you in as a stormtrooper." It's like I can't do nothing. I can't even hardly walk in that stupid costume, more or less do it.
Dang.
But
Dedication.
yeah, I will eventually go one of these days. But it's one of the ones where I was so disappointed when I found out. I'm like, I want to live in the Star Wars world. I want to dress like a Star.
Yeah. I get it. I
Yeah.
get why.
Oh
But
yeah. So
yeah.
people, yeah.
We're
But
we're kids at heart
oh
though.
yeah. I'm old. I turned 50 in June, and I have no intention of ever growing up. I live. I mean, you can see all the bullshit stuff I have: comic books and toys and video games and stuff stacked everywhere. I own a comic book and video game store, so I don't have any intention of ever growing up. But I take care of my family and I take care of my kids, and my one son actually works for me now, and he enjoys his job playing video games and acting like he's working. Um, because it's one of the ones where he's like, what games did we get, Dad? I'm like, here, just pick the games
You
you
gotta
want.
test them out.
Yeah. See, that's the worst part about it is I don't know how many games that went to their house and that never came back to the store because they're like, we gotta test them and make sure they work, Dad. Okay. When did you ever bring that game back? What game? I'm like, okay. And then
I'm not judging.
yeah. So it's real bad. My youngest, he went through and he snagged games that I didn't even realize he had snagged. He got Super Mario Maker and uh, uh, where's the other one at? Probably some. Mario World. He stole those out of the case. He brought them home and he's been playing them. I was like, oh yeah, those are supposed to be for sale.
Hey, good choices though.
So, what's your go-to video game?
I like the Spyro series and Crash Bandicoot series. I'm trying to get into Hogwarts Legacy. Taking a second, but
I am a sucker for. I think Crash Bandicoot is so underrated. I love Crash Bandicoot. I've played it since when it came out on a PS1. Because, like I said, I'm old. Uh, it's a great game, and I just got a copy of the Insane trilogy. So
yeah, I just got the reignited Spyro trilogy on the PS5 because I only own Year the Dragonfly, and because that's the one I grew up on GameCube because I was a GameCube girly. But I was like, I'll just buy 3 games in one. I'm poor. Might as well. I have the PS5. Makes
yeah,
it easy.
Yeah, it's the other day I got the original demo, so it has Spyro and Ape Escape on it, and it's the original PlayStation demo disc.
Wow,
And then
that's crazy.
yeah, I got a Crash demo disc the other day too. It's just the weird stuff that comes through the store is crazy. There's like people go, "Is that for sale?" I'm like, "If you got money, yeah, I guess it's for
Yeah,
sale."
yeah.
Everything's for sale. I tell everybody that. And then my wife goes, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "There's three things I won't sell, but they're not at the shop. They're here at the house." So
Hmm. As they should be.
it should be. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like those, and then like I also like weird games like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is one of my favorite games to ever exist.
That game has a huge following. I sell the hell out of that game. People, because it's, I think, what for the PS2, the GameCube, and the Xbox 360, maybe. But I can't keep it in. Anytime SpongeBob
Yeah,
games come in, and then if I get to point this out. A friend of mine did the artwork for the cover to that game.
the
Yeah,
original.
yeah, because he works for Paramount. He does SpongeBob, Dora, Blue's Clues. He does like all the Paw Patrol. He does all those like covers, and that's
Wow.
yeah. He was a comic book artist that decided to get a real job, and now he does work for Paramount.
Hey, that's a real job.
Yeah, oh, believe me. He goes, yeah, he goes, I make more money doing that than I ever did making comics. And he goes, and there's no stress. He goes, I say no stress, but then he goes, I screwed up one time and I drew the wrong blue. So he goes, I had to Photoshop out blue out of everything and then put the new version of blue from Blue's Clues in everything.
Wow.
So yeah, he goes, they got all kinds of rules that they have to go by. So they got to be very specific to what that version of SpongeBob is, that version of so it has yeah. But
I could never. Probably
so here's the big question we always ask everybody towards the end of the episode. What advice do you have for people getting into the music business?
never. Just do it.
Just do it.
Don't give a fuck about what anybody says. If you have a vision, do it. Um, Literally do everything you can to make it happen. If you find yourself just sitting there, like just scrolling on social media or like just like zoning out watching TV or something, yes, you can have those days, but you need to. This stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and if you're not working towards it, like it's it's not gonna happen. Like you've got to put so much energy into it. Um, but it'll all be worth it once you see your vision coming to life. Like the second they played my first song for me the first time, I was like, this is happening. Like, so it's just you gotta have those the struggles and the bad days in order for you to be able to jump over the hurdles and make it to the finish line.
So how did you feel when you first heard your song on the radio?
It was actually 2 nights ago. Wait, what is today? The fourth? Three,
Fourth, yeah.
4 nights ago.
So you dropped on the first?
Time isn't real. Um, it played on this show that is on iHeartRadio, Rebecca Rama or something. Um, it was surreal. It was the first song that played in that 2 hour window. Um, I was mostly getting a kick out of them having to bleep out words and completely taking out the last sentence of the song. I was just getting a kick out of it. Yeah, it's surreal. And then there's another one that DM'd me prior to that saying they were going to play it on their podcast on iHeartRadio. And that was the first thing I've gotten at all for any of this. And so I was just sitting at work, just like having the most stressful day I've had. And when that DM popped up, hey, we're going to be playing your song. Can you record a radio ID for us? I just like, my hospitality coordinator was sitting next to me, and poor her, I just started bawling. I was like, I don't know what to do right now. And she's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, it's a hard day, but my song's gonna be on the radio. So it's just it's surreal that it's happening this quick. And like, yes, it's like smaller smaller shows on this station, but like it's a thing that's happening that wasn't happening before. It's a step to me eventually like being like a regular on iHeartRadio or like a
Yeah,
regular on K Rock or like, you know, being on the Today Show. Who knows?
yeah. Hell yeah, you never know. Every time I think about drop, it's like, man, I don't know. My wife goes, "Are you having fun?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have fun
Yeah.
doing what I do." And she's like, "Then why do you worry about it?" I'm like, "Yeah, why do I worry about it?" So I just have fun. I do what I do. It drives her
Yeah.
nuts sometimes because she's got to deal with me going, "Oh, I'm doing an interview," and I disappear into the basement. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
just it just goes like just think like this song was sitting on a hard drive a month and a half ago,
wow,
and then it was submitted, and it's been out for 3 weeks now. So in this 3 weeks time, people have listened to it. People have watched the video, and regardless if it's one person, 50 people, thousands of people, somebody has seen it, and that's all that matters.
yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you now. We put songs at the end after at the credits and stuff like that. We can go ahead and put the music video at the end, so you have the music and the credits at the end with your music video. Is that cool with you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely cool. Thank you much. Where can people find you?
Everywhere.
Yeah,
Literally everywhere. It's usually Haleigh_Byers on everything. Instagram, Twitter, well, X, whatever. Um, Threads, Snapchat, TikTok. I have an artist page on Facebook. It's just my name. Same with YouTube. It's just my name, Haleigh Byers. And then I do have a gaming channel, Haleigh Byers Gaming. Um, and I stream on Twitch, Haleigh_Byers. My name is spelled very uniquely, so I'm sure if you search my name, you'll
yeah, because it's
find it anywhere.
it's the Leigh version of Haleigh.
Yeah. The
As
doctor thought my mom was naming me Hallelujah.
mine is that my last name is Lee. And I love to people go like, "How do you spell that?" I go, "You got a pen?" They're like, "Yeah." They're like, "It's L, yeah." Is it E? Yeah, E. That's
That's
it.
it.
So this Lee. I've had people like, "Is it Leigh?" No, it's just Lee. I'm super basic, is what I am. But um, do you have any merch or anything yet, or any?
Not yet.
Not
In the
yet.
works. I just
In,
got my first logo back. So I'm hoping to put like stickers and buttons and stuff out. And then I have cool ideas for eventually. But I'm just taking it one step at a time now. I will have merch by the time I play my first show though.
there you go. Like, you're gonna have signed pictures and all that funness.
If somebody wants me to scribble on a picture of me, shoot me a DM
Yeah,
and
there we go.
we'll talk.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I had the first person to ask for a signed picture from me the other day, and I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Because you're do all this stuff." I'm like, "Why?" I'm a weird looking dude. Oh no. So yeah. See, you got it. You're fun. You've got a good look. You've got, you're going out. You're doing it yourself. You've got your friends with you, and you're putting out. You've got plans, and that's a lot of people do not have that plan, and
Yeah.
you're doing it because we've talked about this on earlier shows that you put out singles and you keep people interested, and then you release the album,
Mm-hmm.
and you're on the ball because you've got the backing because you've been in the music industry. Even if you haven't been in the music industry, you've been in the music industry
Yeah.
for a while now, so you've got all that education, and you've been, so that's
I'm
great.
very, very thankful I started the way I did,
Yeah, because
especially in LA. Like starting in LA, like that's where it's even crazier.
yeah,
So I feel like I can handle like anything at this point.
oh, yeah. Well, It has been a blast having you on here. You're a fun person. People need to find you and
Thank
check you out while
you.
you're still. You need to go find her before she blows up and talk to her before she's too famous to talk to everybody. Uh,
Never, I'll never be too famous
Never
for
too
you.
famous to talk to people. There you go. So yet again, I appreciate it. And if you do, I will be the first person to ask for a signed picture when you get them. So, my goal is that I've got like all this memorabilia from all the bands. I'm trying to get memorabilia from all the bands that we've interviewed and stuff like that. I've got T-shirts, I got CDs, I've got stickers and stuff like that, even from the ones from overseas. And so I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna get something from everybody.
Yeah.
And my long term goal is I've just figured this out the other day. My little podunk town used to have a huge music scene. Ironically enough, we only like 27,000 people, and we had a big music scene, and that disappeared. And my goal is to bring it back. And one of my goals is that to get as many people who've been on this show to a big, like, full solid day of music somewhere.
That'd be sick.
So that's my long term goal. Maybe not, maybe next year or the year after, but that's my goal down the road. So we're gonna hope for that. So
It'll happen.
yeah. But
I love that.
Thank you again. And yeah, we need to. I'm in Ohio time, so I'm like 3 hours ahead of you, and I apologize.
I am the worst. I literally woke up at 11:30 today, and I was like, "Oh no, time zones."
Time zones, yes. Well, it was bad because one time I was sitting there contacting. We played with. I did an interview with uh, China, and I've done an interview with Australia for my other show. And you're like, so what time is it right now for you? And then we had to start with that, and then we had to figure everything up. And I'm like, okay, if I interview at 10 o'clock in the morning, your time, that is 11 o'clock my time the night before. So so I'm filming it like at midnight my time to make sure I could get them first thing in their morning when they're at work. So I was like, oh my god. So,
We love
but
it.
yeah, but thank you so very much. You're like I said, you're fun. You're something different. You are. You, I mean this in every possible way. You are an animated character come to life. And
Thank
I
you.
mean, you do. I mean, you go find her, Instagram page, go and you tell me that she's not a cartoon character come to life.
Just do
And
it.
there
Just
you
do
go.
it.
There you go. Go find her. Go now when you're watching this show because this show will drop Thursday at 8 p.m. So this will at my time. So this will be probably right around 9 o'clock. So go get
I'll
on
put
it.
it in my calendar.
There you go. So it has been fun. I'll let you get back to doing what you were doing, and I got to get back to doing what I was doing.
Thank you
And
for having me.
thank you for doing the show. I greatly appreciate it.
I appreciate you. It's my first podcast, so
Oh, cool. So next time you can be like, I was on a podcast today, and they go, who? You go TalkNRoll, and they're like, who's that? So my goal is that we're going to get ready to start transferring all the YouTube videos over to my actual Podbean, so it'll actually be the video podcast and the audio podcast soon. So we'll be setting that up soon. But the video will drop Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's like 5 your time.
5 my time.
5 your time, I think.
I'm clarifying it now.
Yeah. So it's 4 o'clock my time. What is it? 1 o'clock your time?
Yep.
There we go. Yes. So you have a good day and go and enjoy the nice California weather because we're actually having good weather in Ohio, which is a shocker. So
yeah, open
it's
a window.
50 here. So what is it like?
I haven't stepped outside yet.
I've already been to the gym and back home already. So
it's 58 right now.
Oh, it's not. It's only 8. Man, that's crazy. It's only 8 degrees difference between Ohio and Los Angeles. Damn.
We're getting rain all day today and tomorrow.
Yeah, so we're nice and sunny and no rain. So, but all right. Well, you have a good night and
You too.
Take care.
push me around. Saw those tits you said you were deleting. Every day I thought about leaving. I knew it was fucked, you told me to shut up. I knew it was wrong when you hated my mom. I mean, texting your ex isn't cheating, but sleeping with her is. You think it's so cool when you steal my happiness. You think it's so cool when you just want to undress. When you grab my wrist, but we haven't kissed. Kinda feels like shit, didn't ask for this. You think it's so cool, but you're not. You blew up a stick of dynamite outside the window because you knew it would trigger me? Or the time that you pinned me down and cracked all my fingers and toes even though you knew it hurt? Or maybe that time that you cheated on me? Twice. Or was it 3 times? 4? You think it's so cool when you can only off the bed. You think it's so cool when you shake yourself to death. You won't make me cry, you won't tell me lies. Make me break like glass, but I left your ass. You think it's so cool, you think it's so cool, you think it's so cool, but you're really a cunt. You think that you're so cool.